warriors, welcome to the Unfucking Movement. I am B. Sleep is not my friend tonight, so it's quite late in the evening, and I felt like I should just pop on and talk a little bit about something that's kicking around in my wee little noggin here, which is shame. I wanted to talk a little bit about shame. More specifically, I wanted to talk about shame from the perspective of an empath. Because one of the things that's become more and more apparent to me is, as an empath, and as I've said before, I haven't, it's not a term that I like to necessarily label myself on, because how empaths come to be in creation is usually from a very, trauma-ridden background where you were in a situation where it was quite abusive because, whether you're being raised by a self-absorbed parent, a narcissistic personality type of energy, alcoholism, any of these types of energies meant that you had to constantly be in observation and hypervigilance and observing and hyper noticing, mood fluctuations and for your own very survival. And so that empathy became, well, if I fix it, if I make it better, then, I can, keep the crazy at bay, keep the chaos at bay, keep the abuse at a minimum. So it's a survival technique that really is, a lot of people in the spiritual community kind of love the term empath, like, oh, I'm an empath, I can read people's energy so well. I am an empath and I can read people's energy so well. Although sometimes I gotta say, I have my own blind spots. Most certainly, that has been something that's been come to my level of awareness, is where my blind spots are. And a lot of that is to do with the fact of the way that I was raised by a narcissistic mother. I was gaslit an awful lot growing up. And so I didn't see a lot of the abuses for what they were, because I was told they weren't abuses. So if same as if you're raised in an environment where things are crazy or cuckoo or out of whack or neglect or, alcoholism and fluctuating, enabling and enmeshment and any of these types of things, that's your normal. So when you're raised in an abnormal environment, but made to believe that that's normal, you develop blind spots. And so one of the blind spots that I would have developed over the years, and is that overuse of empathy, is the absorption of others' energies. So empathy is an empath, is somebody that not only can read the energies of somebody, they absorb those energies as their own. They take ownership of other people's shit. So it's like, okay, their mood is off. That means I need to fix it. They're laying a guilt trip. That means I should feel guilty. They're projecting their shame. Therefore, I should feel shameful. So you are quickly and constantly in a state of picking up and taking ownership of other people's emotions, other people's woundings, other people's traumas. And it becomes like this over responsibility to take care of it. And one of the things that I can see now, as I've continued down this healing path, is how so often I would pick up other people's shameful attitudes and take ownership, and I would carry the shame, and I would feel like, oh, well, I can't talk about this, or I can't express this, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, because, it's a shame and energy that I took on. So tonight, in my inability to sleep, I was sketching a little bit, something that I am an artist, and I do the occasional artwork, but I wanted to show and share this piece of artwork with you. So I'll put it up here. And because I really think that this describes or depicts, more to point, artistically speaking, the empath narcissist paradigm, which I've talked about in multiple videos, because on one end of the spectrum, you have a narcissist, and on the other end of the spectrum, you have an empath. And the goal in life is to find a middle ground of health and wellness and alignment, so that your egoic self, it has a healthy level of narcissism, and you also have a healthy level of empathy, and that includes empathy for self as well as boundaries, healthy boundaries. But what happens when you're raised in an environment where you're raised by a narcissist or a self-absorbed parent or somebody that displays narcissistic characteristics, is you become enmeshed with their wounding. You become an extension, so to speak, of them. So all that's good in you, you can see by this first, cord, energetic cord, is sucked into them. The more that you show up in the world and succeed, or the more that they can boast about your accomplishments, specifically that goes really well if you happen to fall into a golden child type of role, is, look at how great my son or daughter is. They won this award. They've written this essay. They've, accomplished this sporting thing. They have got a role in a movie. All of those things are ways that the narcissist or the self-absorbed parent that's enmeshed or parentified that child can take ownership. And so it's like a siphoning or a sucking, that term energetic vampire, or I also like the term energetic ticks, because, sometimes you have relationships with people that are not as obvious or noticeable as a vampire, but are sucking at you. So even like an energetic leech, somebody that like embeds in and just slowly sucks away at you, and you come away after every meeting with them and you're like, oh my God, I'm really tired. Oh, that's exhausting. Because it's not a reciprocal energetic exchange. It's a constant pulling in one direction. But if that's your normal, if that's how you were raised, to, allow people to feed off of you, then it becomes, you become an easy target for other people's lunch out there. But, I think a lot of people know of the idea of, cords, and a lot of people know of the idea of the energetic vampire sucking away your energy. Like, oh, look at this lovely light worker. They're so shiny and bright. Gonna suck all that. Or this, really good, lovely empath person and giving to the world. I'm gonna suck all that. But what we don't talk a lot about, and that's why when I was drawing this, is the cord is not just a solitary cord. It's a circular energy that enters, and the flow as well as continues on through to the other person through the back. And what's coming in your back, so to speak, energetically, it's all the shit they don't want. So if they're sucking lunch from you, oh, that's tasty and nice, they still need to get rid of all the nasty that's in them. And that is, any guilt, self-hatred, self-loathing, self-shame. Shame is a big one. And project that onto the other person. And so in projecting it onto the other person, it's like a filtration system of I can suck the goodness, and then in return, I'm going to give you all the negativity and the bad. So this is one thing, for me that has been a perpetual, because I was blind to it, a perpetual situation that's come up in more than one situation in my life. I've been dealing for the last few weeks with a breakdown of a relationship where I see now what I couldn't see before. And when you see, you can't unsee. And when you get to that point of seeing somebody for what they truly are, you are in the position of a little bit of cognitive dissonance, or a lot. It can take you a while to go through breaking down to get to the truth of the situation, because you've been giving and giving and giving, and so hopeful that if I just give a little bit more, then they're gonna see the light, and everything's gonna get better, and everything's gonna work out okay. And you're putting in so much energy, giving so much energy into something, into someone, and maybe years. It was for me 14 years of giving everything I could to try to make the situation always better, to always be problem solving, to always be fixing, to always be fawning, to always be in a state of flight, which is the, constantly doing. Not necessarily, flight doesn't necessarily, as a trauma response, means run away. It means run. So you're running and cleaning this, and you're running and painting that, and you're running and doing, this, that, and the other. And, over time, you'll become depleted and burn out. And then as well, you're absorbing all the negativity that's being handed back to you in exchange. So I guess today I wanted to come on and give a little bit of, because this is where I am in my own life, and this is where I'm at in my own healing journey of, understanding the paradigm of the empath narcissist just that much more. And, the truth sometimes comes like a massive smack in the face. And once presented with that information, you have to do something about it. And so what is there to do about it? You wake up one morning and you take a long, hard look, and you're like, wait, no, something's way off with this. Unfortunately, you have to cut cords. You have to cut cords, and there's many free YouTube videos that you can find, do like cord cutting meditations, or as I do, visualize that cord in the front, and whether you need to use a pair of scissors or a mighty sword to cut that. But while you're at it, cut that cord in the back as well, so that there's no cords, and do a body scan. Scan yourself visually, with your eyes closed, and just say, are there any more cords to any people that are siphoning energy off of me? And let's cut those too. Call in the angels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Zadkiel, are great angels to work with to assist you on this journey. Or look to YouTube for cord cutting, clearing meditations that you can do. Also, shielding. I don't know if I've talked, I know I've brought it up maybe in one or two videos about shielding. And again, calling on Archangel Michael and sending up a prayer of shielding. Shield your physical self, shield your home, shield your car, shield your work, shield your computer, shield, whatever you're working on. Because shielding is, spiritually speaking, very powerful. Your words and your prayers and your thoughts all have power. They all have an energetic charge to them. So when you set the intention to shield yourself, then you're protected on the divine, from the divine, getting assistance that way. Another thing you can do is clearings. And how you can clear is smudging, doing a lot of smudging and clearing, having a nice spiritual bath. And what's a spiritual bath different than any other bath? So what I do is I make up a mix of Epsom salts or sea salts. Either one is good. Some baking soda, aluminum free baking soda is preferable if you can get it. You can get it at the bulk barn. A little bit of borax, because borax actually helps pull out some toxins out of your system, and then bentonite clay as well. And then you can use some lovely essential oils to make the bath even more, pleasant. Light a candle, play some nice music, and sit in there and just, clear, cleanse, purify your system. And do that as needed, as you're going through the transition of loss. Because even though it was a toxic person, when we lose karmic bonds, there's still the dream of what could have been, or the dream of who you thought they were, or the dream of, the love bombing moments, the times when they were showing up, giving you what you thought was who they were. But once you see, you can't unsee. And it's very important that you do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. And so that includes, going no contact. Any number of videos out there that you can see that specialize in information about narcissistic people will always advise you to go no contact. Because that's the only way that you can protect yourself from that energetic cord reattaching. And if you can't go no contact because you're in a situation where you have children with this person, or you work with this person, and you live with this person, graystoning, graystoning or greystone, I'm not sure. And that's where you make yourself as boring as humanly possible to them, so that you're not giving the energy. So any answers to questions are short and sweet. Yes, no. You're not engaging in any type of dramatic conversations or conflict. And they will try everything under the sun to get you to talk, to get you to start sharing, to get you to open up, to get you to feel guilty, to get you to feel shameful, to get your inner critic working. They'll drop any number of passive aggressive comments, dismissive comments, little bombs to get you to jump back. Why would you do that? To trigger you. So be careful of all the little ploys that are out there to get you to jump back in, because as soon as you jump back in, you're hooked, and they'll reel you back in. So if you're struggling with this type of situation and you need a little bit of extra help, come over to Facebook and join my support group for spiritual warriors, or send me a private message. I'm open to receive private messages via Instagram or Facebook, and let me know what it is that you're struggling with, because you're not alone. There are thousands of people out there that seem to be have had this life experience at some point or another with an exceptionally toxic person. And there are groups that you can join to get support. There are trauma-informed counselors that know what they're talking about. There's a million YouTube resources on narcissism, and I highly recommend that you check some of those out. I can list the names of 3 particularly good ones. Otherwise, as I said, there's so many out there that have hundreds and thousands of followers. So This is a huge problem in society, this empath narcissist paradigm of people getting used and abused and have their energy, taken in every which way they can by people that are in their own toxicity. And listen, I understand and I grasp from a fundamental level that wounded people wound people, traumatized people traumatize people. So these people are walking around with a lot of woundings, but it's not our job to fix them. It's theirs. It's their job to fix themselves. We are not responsible. As empaths, we need to learn to boundary up, because empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. Empathy without boundaries is self-abuse. Empathy without boundary is a lack of self-love, self-care, self-protection, and valuing self. So boundary up, absolutely. And if they don't like it, that's their problem. They are grown-up adults, just like we are, so they are responsible to, deal with their own traumatic issues, just like we are. They are responsible to deal with their emotions, just like we are. They are responsible for deal with their own mental thought processes, just like we are. So, they don't get a special ticket. No matter what they lay on the table for you. Oh, my anxiety's acting up, or, oh, well, I didn't mean it. I had a rough this or that. The excuses, no more. No more excuses. We, as spiritual warriors on this mission of learning that we are learning to take care of self. So that's just like when you're on a plane and the oxygen mask drops. They always say, put it on first. Yourself first, and then you put on others. So our job is not to fix other people. That's not a healthy boundary. Our job is not to prop up other people. That's enabling. Our job is not to care for people that have the capacity to care for themselves. That is on them. So learning independence, sovereignty, so that, we can move forward in life in healthy, interdependent type of relationships is definitely a part of the healing journey. And with that said, all my absolute love and best to you. If you're struggling on the healing path, as I said, reach out. You're not alone. And let's, stick together. It works out better for people when we stick together and, help each other out of these difficult relationships, because sometimes your friends will see things that you don't see. So there's a good final point just to leave with. If you're in a state of cognitive dissonance, which means that, there's two realities fighting to take hold. And one of those realities is, oh, he's a really good person, and oh, she's a terrible person. There's two realities that are fighting. Go ask for your friends' advice. Go see what they say. But bear in mind, they may not be privy to all of the information, because narcissistic people are very good at showing up and looking super suave and, super charming to other people. But for curiosity's sake, explain some of the things that you're experiencing, and say to them, what do you think about this? Can you see it from a different set of eyes, a different perspective? Because I might be blind to something that's happening that's very toxic and potentially abusive, and I need some help. That said, have a super fucking awesome day, and go and fuck some shit.